Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for this week's edition of ChangeMakers, episode number 27. We made it over the half-year hump last week, and we've got another phenomenal guest this week. Cannot wait to have this conversation. I actually really can't wait to show you guys the news story about him, which is how our lovely Nikki found him. It's a phenomenal story. And he's continuing to do amazing work in his community and is the epitome of what a ripple effect can be and creating change in your community. You don't have to be worth $1 billion to make massive change. And this gentleman, Jermaine Jordan, coming on soon, is the epitome of that. Do me a favor, guys. I know we just went live. We want as many people to watch this as humanly possible. This is up on our YouTube and it's on our Facebook. So please break that algorithm and share this out there. As soon as you get on, please hit the like button, hit the care button, hit the love button. If you're afraid of sharing politics, guess what? This is not a political show. This is about people creating and doing good in their community. So I know you guys are going to love it. Hit the share button. I'm not seeing enough likes to match the amount of viewers. Get on it. Ladies and gentlemen, ChangeMakers starting in 30 seconds. What's going on, everybody? I want to give a shout out to American Snippets. That countdown is way better than that generic StreamYard one that we've been using for far too long. I need you guys to do me a favor. Hit some comments in the box. Start creating the algorithm to trip so we get some more viewers in here. I see Madeline's comment already. Let's go ahead and flood that comment box so we can see what's going on. What's going on, Christine? How you doing? Madeline, what up? Go ahead and put it in there. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. Do all that you can. Christine loves it. Love that you love it. This is going to be a great show, guys. I'm going to really quick go through the very, very short housekeeping. If you want to support us, make sure you check out our patreon.com/BetheChange USA. We have all new gear. As you can see, I'm always liking to wear this new shirt, the Awake Not Woke. Pretty popular. When we interviewed Jo Jorgensen earlier today, I got a chuckle out of her on that one. Yeah, that's right. We got to interview one of the three people that ran for president of the United States and was on BetheChange earlier. I'm seeing the comments flow in right now. Awesome. All right, Nikki, I see Sherry, Cheryl, Montana's in the house. Rose, what's going on? And hello to everybody out there. I am very, very excited for this show. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the comment box, and we're just going to get to it. If you'd like to support us, that's where it is. PayPal, all of it, you guys know that I'm not a huge fan of any of them except for Patreon, because then you get Motivational Mondays. You get a little bit extra for a whopping $5 a month, and it allows us to continue to do what we do. If you want to check out our gear, it's #BetheChange.com/shop. You can just find us on the website. Also a great way to subscribe so we can find you if we're ever kicked off the internet for God knows why. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and get the show started. I'm going to introduce this gentleman. ChangeMaker doesn't do it justice. And it's stories like this that I don't know why are not on national news, because local news is great. And if it does make national news, why don't we share this a million times instead of all the negative stuff that's played on 24/7? This is the type of stuff that will motivate people to actually create change in the world around them, in their community. With that said, I want to introduce our guest. He is born and raised in the west side of Chicago. He grew up in the projects with 18 siblings, or I don't know if he had 7. I don't know if he was the 18th one. There was a lot of kids, plain and simple. Parents didn't have a lot, but they always taught his brothers and sisters how to share and have a giving heart. And that was instilled at a young age, and it shows today. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, give a warm house welcome to Jermaine. What's going on, Jermaine Jordan?
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. He's got his shirt on for his free hot meals. Go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about who you are, and then I'm going to go ahead and play the news clip.
Yes, my name is Jermaine Jordan. I'm one of the siblings of 19 children from my mom and dad. Grew up in the Henry Horner projects on the west side of Chicago, and we grew up poor. So my mom and father, we had to make ends meet. So had to cook for my brothers and sisters. So growing up in the projects, it was always like helping one another. So I took that into opening up a car wash, using the funds from the car wash, and I was already going out feeding our beloved homeless in the tent cities, under the bridge, going to the shelters, feeding them. I was cooking out of my apartment, and I took that money to open up an absolutely free restaurant on the west side of Chicago at 4100 West Madison. Desserts, drinks. We give away clothes, give away gas cards, give away the groceries. We go to the senior citizen homes, pass out hot meals and groceries. During the pandemic, they couldn't come out. We got a number, a head count of how many people that was at the in the senior citizen building. So we prepared healthy hot meals for them and brought it to them, and other people that couldn't make ends meet. A lot of healthcare workers, first responders, going to the hospitals, making sure they eat and feeding the families in need. That's on the west side of Chicago, in the West Garfield area. And we go do that every day, 7 days a week, nonstop.
So there's more to the story, and we're going to get into it. I want to play this quick 2-minute clip because it's not just about the food. It's about the opportunities you've provided, the community you've provided, all these different things, and the fact that you're a man of your word to people. And I'm going to go ahead and share this real quick. Give me a second to bring it up. Let's see. Free hot meals. There it is. All right, I'm going to play this real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, this is from the local news out in Chicago.
Now, a new model, empathy, kindness, to give back on the west side of Chicago. There's a need here in the community due to, the lack of, we don't have fresh fruits and vegetables here, and there's a food desert around here. They closed down a big grocery store. I'm from the Henry Horner Projects. My dad told me, started teaching me how to cook when I was 5.
This one has ribs, greens, and stuffing.
Straight to the point of this. Free hot meals. Okay, that's exactly what we're doing. Free hot meals. We're doing hundreds of people a day because we're going out to the homeless encampments. We're going out to the senior buildings. We're going out to the shelters. So we're feeding close to 100 people a day.
It's been open 3 months now. Free meal, 7 days a week. I have a car wash at 4532 West Madison. I use the funds from that to fund this. And also I have an online GoFundMe where people donate as well.
They actually gave me a job, helped me out, and actually helped me live in a hotel without me putting up no expenses.
I as well was living in Tent City. Mr. Jordan used to come and feed us a lot, and he promised us a job, kept his word, and he took us along with him.
We know Jermaine from under the bridge on Kedzie and Chicago Avenue right there. We're in all the tents. He comes by. He brings us hot food. He's put us in hotels several times.
We don't know what we would do without him.
There's been a lot of resources like what they got going on here, and it's good to have people like this out there in the world.
Man, it feel good, to be able to give back in the community and to be able to help.
I just love to see people smile. It's just been a passion of mine my whole life to help people. And to me, it's like a high. I'm geeked just to see the crowd.
Come check us out at Free Meals, 4100 West Madison.
Come eat. The food's great.
I love that. Doesn't get any better than that, plain and simple. So I have to ask, because again, I love the fact that you've told people you'd provide a job for them and all that stuff. What was the motivation? What was day one? You're like, you know what? I'm going to start giving out free meals. You had the car wash, I think, first. What was the trigger point?
Man, God had given me a dream at 3:00 in the morning. Like, man, open up a restaurant and it's going to be free. I'm like, ain't gonna be able to make no money, but I was obedient and I was already doing it. So I just had to take it to another level to want to help people and help out in the community. And it makes you feel good. It makes your heart flutter to give children and our beloved homeless meals and to put them up in hotels that been burnt out and to be able to do this every day and to be able to help out. So it was very motivating.
So 3 a.m., how long ago was this?
That was in August. That was August, around the 14th of August of I want to say that was of 20.
Okay, so we're talking like a little less than a year ago, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you know, you were raised with the heart of giving. You had the car wash first, and then did you already have the food truck restaurant, or I'm sorry, it's not a food truck, it's a regular restaurant. Did you already have that first, or did you
No.
just say, I want to create a place where I can create free meals?
Yes, that's what I did. I got that later after that, and the opportunity opened up, and I'm like, man, I rented the place. They was like, you don't give away free meals. They was like, you ain't gonna be open a month, but it almost been a year now, and it's been going strong. And it's been
no, go ahead. So keep going.
And it's been that, people have helped out on the O-line GoFundMe and the Cash App, $ free food 4100, and the Zelle. My phone number 773-575-1745. People have been donating, making the change, donating food, clothes, man, whatever that they can, and able to give it out in the community.
I'm going to throw up that GoFundMe, and that's what I'm going to talk about next. So Nikki told me when we were talking, she's like, he's got a GoFundMe. That I'm like, how does he do this? Like, obviously, talked about growing up in the projects. He's got a car wash, but like, to give away a lot of free food is not cheap. And she goes, well, he had a pretty successful GoFundMe. And the GoFundMe is almost at $300,000. And it's a continuous, essentially, that's the way you continue the business on top of the money that you put in yourself.
Yes.
Creating a $300,000 GoFundMe is a feat in and of its own. So how did that get traction? Was it the news that helped, or was it just word in the community?
Man, it started out with word in the community, and then the news people just started reaching out to me, and they just seen it. And then there was like long lines around the corner. Police, they pulling up like, man, what's going on here? And it was people, they was like, man, we waiting on our food. We ain't going nowhere. They was like, we hungry, we want to eat.
It's so crazy to me that it's like you're a regular dude. We have a lot of regular human beings, and and we look at government, and we look at, what can somebody else do for me when or what can somebody else do to fix problems, when people like you have found a way, because it's on your heart. And clearly, if people are complaining about the problems, it's on their heart too. They can help people like you, or they can start things like you. And there's plenty of people to continue to feed. And it's not just about feeding homeless people. It's the thing that I really want to focus on. And if there's any great stories through that, the people that you had on, I think Sunny was the first one. And then you had a few other people that you've provided work for. How did that come about? While you're saying that, I'm going to go ahead and put the GoFundMe in the comment box. If you guys want to click on it, learn a little bit more, that's in there. So yeah, how did you go about saying, I want to provide not just meals, but I want to provide work as well to these people I meet?
It was like Jerome King and Sony Noble. I met them. They was living on under the bridge on Kizzy. That was on Chicago Avenue in Albany. They was living under the bridge, and I was, I became real close with them, feeding them every day, and they was anticipating the meal. And they was like, man, if you could help me out, if you know a job. I was like, man, I'm gonna open up a restaurant. And when I open up that restaurant, I'm coming to get you guys, and I'm gonna give you a job. And and them working, I gave them a job where they can have a paycheck every 2 weeks. And I also put them up in a hotel. Jerome King actually found the studio apartment, in the West Garfield neighborhood, looking for Sony Noble apartment as well. So he's still at the hotel. So he able to, it's like, man, it's like a blessing to see. They didn't put on weight from eating. It's just the stress been relieved. Man, they able to eat a good meal, able to take them to their doctor's appointment, make sure they get there. And it just feels good. So I was coming by every day, and I come. And I was like, man, leave your stuff. I'm like, man, I got a job for you. Man, open up tomorrow. I'm going to get y'all a hotel room. And I took them to a hotel downtown. I took them right there on Michigan. I took them to the hotel, and they was like, man, we can stay here. He was like, man, you want me to give you something out of my check? I told him, man, don't worry about it. I'm like, man, there's something. They was like, man, it feel good. And actually, Jerome, he got to crying. He was like, man, I haven't took a shower in over 4 months. And he was like, man, I'll be able to get in some hot water, and I provided them with, clothes, and people started donating them clothes, shoes. And it was just a blessing, to see them do that and to be able to have someone and see their life change. You know what I'm saying? And within a month, see their whole life change, for the betterment. And they was like, man, don't have to sleep up under the bridge no more on a cold ground, and it was just like, man, it was amazing.
So you give out meals, you still run the car wash. Do you give people the option to pay for their food if they want to go into not allowed?
No, we don't even have a cash register in there. You come in there, everything absolutely free. Your drinks, your dessert, even if you want some people, they want 2 or 3 trays, we give it to them. We serve all the food until it run out.
So, and that was my next question. So does it run out pretty much every day at one point?
Yeah.
So how many meals?
We cook like 2 or 3 meals, different meals a day, even like baked chicken with salad, baked macaroni, yams, or we'll do smothered pork chops, or we'll do like salmon some days, give them an option, or we'll do it on the same day. If it was prepared for the next day, man, we'll go ahead and cook it. If we run out, man, we'll cook it, and man, they'll wait till we finish cooking it. And they was like, man, gonna wait.
This is such a great story. So is your car wash still doing well, correct?
Yes.
So you obviously put a little bit of money in there. You in your expenses to make this happen are food, you're essentially buying the food for a restaurant. Ballpark, actually, give me the amount of meals that you cook a day.
It go anywhere between 300 to 600 meals a day. Because we'll go and feed the senior citizens home on the Fannie Mae, the new senior citizen building that's on Pulaski and Washington on the west side, or we'll go to the one in Humboldt Park, and we'll go to the one in the Austin community. We'll go to them and they'll call.
So you serve it out of the restaurant and then you go and deliver it to set places.
Yeah.
And how many paid employees do you have?
13 paid employees, and I got like 6 volunteers.
And how many of the employees did you get out of Tent City, or people that you met along the way?
About 8 people. Yeah.
Jeez, dude. This is a new one for me, because we have people that do these great things in their life on this show, and this one, I don't know how to properly say it, and I'm not disrespecting the guests out there. This is one of the most amazing unheard stories I know of. You're touching so many people, and it's not just the homeless. Again, now 8 people. So initially when I started this show, the concept behind ChangeMakers is creating a ripple effect. And take away everything that you do. Forget about it. Forget about what you do for 300 to 600 people a day. You've taken 8 people and completely changed their life. That can then be people that continue to change their. There is no way that no matter how long they work for you, they're not going to know what kindness looks like, what giving looks like, and obviously the way that you receive is always giving. Successful people understand that. And the ripple effects that you are causing in your community they're unbelievable. I don't even know how to properly say it. And I want to ask a serious question here, because I think this is a big problem in communities like that. You mentioned in that news story about food deserts. People don't realize how big of a situation that is in inner cities and why that leads to such poverty. And you mentioned it. Do you have any thoughts on just explain to people what a food desert is and why that is? To be clear on this network, we don't like to talk about systemic racism because we believe in people like you that can rise up and change things. But obviously, there are some elements of systemic racism that are still around today. and one of those is food deserts. Can you explain to our audience what that means and why that's such an impact on a community?
Yeah, we had a food desert even before the pandemic. We had on Medicine Street, just maybe about 4 or 5 blocks from our restaurant. It was called More Noinks. And they shut that down. That's where we got all our like vegetables and grains and got our meats. They shut that down. And even the Aldi's, that's, going east of the restaurant on that's on Springfield and Madison. Man, every time you go in there, man, there's always, low shortage. Even when I get stuff from the restaurant, I have to go, I either have to go to Oak Park or I have to go in Lincoln Park to Mariano's to, to get stock and get food for the restaurant, because you can go around in the neighborhood. They either, man, boarded up or shut down, and people that black and brown people that's in the community that maybe want to get some asparagus or some fresh fruits and vegetables, they, they can't get it, because even before the pandemic, it still wasn't there. During the pandemic, it just became worse. So that's when I started passing out groceries too, passing out fresh fruits and vegetables, because it is a food desert on the west side of Chicago. And I think that is that. And one man, he told me, even if it was that, he was like, man, he wouldn't be able to, to afford it. So I'm like, man, to try to, just try to go into every different areas to, provide that. It's just like being on the west side is not most looked at. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to being in Lincoln Park or being in Oak Park, because that's where I got to go, and I'm able to get some fresh fruits or vegetables to be able to, bring back and pass out in the community to our beloved homeless or the families in need.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones that a lot of entry-level jobs for young adults is grocery stores, and the ability to eat healthy. And people don't understand, like, and we talk a lot about health, and I know that you serve barbecue, but it sounds like you also have salmon, you have some healthy alternatives, you do some cooked vegetables. Yeah. Eating cheap fried food on a daily basis, which is really the only option for some of the kids in projects, and I know you grew up that way. I grew up in a not a fiscally challenged home, but in the neighborhood I had, we had grocery stores, and you can find inexpensive produce. When you can't find that, take already not having much and then having crappy foods in your system. It's not a joke. It's like your energy levels are lower. The kids are going to be more adept at crime. Your parents are going to be like, there's just so many different things that what happens when you don't eat healthy and don't even have the option to be healthy. So out of the trickle effects left of the systemic issues in our country, food deserts are one of the things I like to talk about a lot, because, and I don't talk about it enough, actually. If you reminded me of this issue, because I believe so much in the power of food. And yeah, it's something that needs to be discussed. If there's one thing that needs to be discussed near the front, that one's a bigger issue than a lot of the other things that we put out on the media. And I love that you are finding a way kind of around that. So I have more budgetary questions, because I got to know this stuff. So you go and buy food from the grocery store. So it's not, you don't get it from suppliers. You actually buy from grocery stores.
Yes.
So you feed 600 people a day off do the grocery stores get mad that you're taking all their food?
That one, some that it is, or they don't have enough. So sometimes you have to go to a couple of grocery stores, that you try to find in the area to try to meet like you passing out, because you're gonna have a big crowd. So you try to have something for everybody. And sometimes they do get mad, or they run out of stock themselves.
Do you have a relationship with any of the grocery stores where they give you a discount for bulk amount, or they know you when you walk?
That's the Jewels in Oak Park. They don't charge me any taxes, and sometimes if it's going bad, they'll call me to come and get it.
Because you'll cook it that day. Yeah. I love it.
Oak Park, and I want to say Dearborn Wholesale Food, he give me a discount on the bulk of the food that I buy as well. And the
So,
supply and the cooking oil and stuff the restaurant needs, he give me a discount.
so do you go grocery shopping every day, or is it every other?
Every 2 to 3 days.
And then how much do you spend on average in those 2 to 3 days? Not every, like just total each trip.
Each trip it'd be over $2,000 to $3,000.
So you're rocking out at about $8,000 in food, anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 in food costs, or about $6,000 to $10,000 in food costs per week. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
And all of this is funded from the GoFundMe, or do you also get private donations as well?
I have got a few. I have got a few private donations. They have sent it to my PO box.
So this is now my business mind kicks in. I'm like, and now I'm with the people in the beginning that are like, Jermaine, it's not going to work. Bro. Like, bro, it's not going to work. Like, there's no way. You're literally bleeding $10,000 a week. That's $40,000 a month with no income from food, except for people trying to make a change in the community, in the world, etc., and employing people. Yes. If anybody thinks that they can't start a business with the thought process of giving, you are giving that hope, plain and simple. Like I think of myself like, how do I make money doing this? How could I? If money doesn't become an issue, you can do pretty amazing things, and you're doing it right there, and you're able to still, I'm sure, support yourself. Do you have any kids yourself?
Yes.
And are they old enough to help you? You seem pretty young.
Yeah, they have came on the weekend to help me out when it was doing the school on a lockdown, or they come to the restaurant and do their schooling at the restaurant to help out. And then I know at first when they got started, after buying all the equipment and everything in the restaurant, I had sold my vehicle to keep the restaurant going.
So what do you drive now?
Payroll. Yeah.
What do you drive now?
Well, I got a car from the auction, and I also have given away cars to the carjack victims. I had given away about 18 cars now, from because I have a dealer's license. Doing I was on the news for that as well, on Fox 7 and 9. It was a lot of people that was getting carjacked, and I still got a waiting list now, so trying to help them as well.
Okay, we're going back to 3 a.m., 3 o'clock in the morning when you thought of this, and now I know that you also give away cars as well. So I'm sure your parents were phenomenal people. I'm sure they were great. That still doesn't instill exactly this. There's got to be there. What is this the motivating factor behind what you do? That 3 a.m. What hit you that morning specifically for the restaurant, besides just an idea? Or when you were growing up, what was it that made you go, I'm going to be this man?
Yeah, when it was like when I was growing up in the projects, my friends, we was younger, probably 8, 9 years old. And I'm not really knowing at the time that they was like really hungry or starving, or didn't know where their parents was at. My mom, she had got her food stamps. She'll go shopping. Man, I'll wait till she leave back out. I'll take that food out, go in the back of the building, and with some, it'll be with some salami and some bread and some mayonnaise and cheese. And it'll be about 9 or 10 of us. And man, we'll eat. And it used to become the big bag of chips. And man, we'll eat it with the chips. And man, I guess that's what like started it. And then when I got older, going to school, it was a shelter on Harrison in California. I used to go there once every other week when I had got my paycheck from working, and it was a Sharks. I used to buy like a big pan of chicken, and the case of pops, and I give it to them. And then I just found myself start doing it, and then even during the pandemic. And it was like more people that was out there than usual. And I talked to them, they was like they lost their job, they got laid off, they're waiting on their unemployment. And it was just like, I'm I'm like, wow. So I started finding myself cooking more food at home. And I'm like, man, this thing got a big deal, man, on 18th, on 18th Street, the expressway, on Chinatown and 22nd, on Kizzy and Chicago Avenue, on Belmont and Western. Man, these all tent cities that we go and feed. And I was just like, man, going from, man, one area to another area. And I go on Facebook like, man, before I open the restaurant, like, who want to come and help me feed? And I go on Roosevelt and Des Plaines. I actually had rescued a guy from there, and they did a news clipping, and he was in there frozen. They had to amputate 3 of his fingers on each hand, the tip, because they was frostbite. And I pulled him out of there, and I was going there checking. That's when I was putting him in the hotel, during this Antarctica weather just a couple months ago. And I was just, man, going. It just went from one step to the next step. And it's like, once you get involved, it's like, in your mind, like, what more can I do? How better way than I can help? It's just, coming to that 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm asleep, man. God gave me the vision. I had the vision. I'm in the store shopping for a restaurant, and he gave it to me like, man, you're going to find a restaurant, and it's going to be for free. And it just came, man, it came right to me. And I was like, wow. And people I was telling them, even my friends, they was like, man, that's how you going to survive off of that? But God made a way. Glory be to God. He made a way for me to go to one thing to the next thing. Even had found a young lady. She had no shoes. It was raining. And I brought her into it. I think it's on my Instagram. Man, she had no shoes on. The Foot Locker had just opened back up. I washed her feet in the restaurant, got some warm water, and had one of the staff members I gave him some money to go across the street to the Foot Locker. She told me her size, got her some socks. I had given her a job. Miss Yvonne, I had given her a job, and, man, a place to stay in the hotel. And it was...
Oh, I think his phone cut out. Oh, that was way too good of a story. I'll wait a couple minutes. Nikki, if you can... Oh, he's back. All right, we're good. Y'all good? Did you run out of batteries?
Yeah, no, it's okay, man.
You're good. I'll go back kind of to where you were when you're talking about all the people you're helping. So you said that when you believed in having the restaurant, and to people just jumping on, 100% a streetlight. To people just jumping on, I want to give a quick recap. So, gentleman owns a car wash, decided to start a restaurant where they have yet to ever collect any money because he believed as though he wanted to feed as many people as possible, feeds 300 to 600 meals a day. He has 13 paid employees, 8 people of which he found that were living in bad conditions, poverty, etc., tent city, whatever. He's employed them, changed their lives. He also has a car sales license, and gives away cars when he can, even though at one point he sold his car to make payroll for a business he doesn't make any money on. He's got a $300,000 or so GoFundMe, which I'll put up if you guys want to donate. And ultimately, this is the epitome of the human being that you don't look at anything having to do with you. There is no can't in what free hot meals is all about. There is no can't in what this human being can do. And I have to ask a couple questions. Do your kids, because we talked about your kids, do your kids think you're insane?
Yeah, it was, but they like what I was, what I'm doing, because even before opening a restaurant, I used to take them out. I used to take 2 of them out with me while I was feeding there, get the water to see, to see how it is that you could be in this situation. That's like, it teach you how to be humble. And they did think that it was insane, but they was like, man, you need a break. And I'm like, nah, it's got to go 7 days a week.
So it's open. I was going to ask that question too. All 7 days. And you did say that when you started praying about it and God told you, so did somebody give you the building for free to use for for the restaurant?
No, I actually rented building out.
Okay, got it.
I went there and bought all the equipment, and they had it closed. They had it closed over about a year and a half before I got it.
So you got a decent deal out of it, I hope, at least. Okay. Because starting a restaurant also not cheap in any way, shape, or form. So your family supports what you're doing. Another question, because you did grow up in the projects, you grew up in a rough neighborhood, and it sounded like when you were younger, you already had this. You were talking about, I think, when you were 9 years old, with all the different things you're doing. No matter, and circumstances are difficult in those situations. Were you ever tempted to get into the life of the projects, get into trouble, stuff like that? Or was that just never a thought in your mind?
No, that's no, my dad and my older brother weren't having that. It was to go to school and do your homework.
You didn't have a choice.
Right.
I love it.
My dad, he was pretty big. He was like 6'3", and he was 6'3" and 400 pounds. I ain't want no part of that.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. So yeah, the other update to people out there that are just joining is he's one of 19 siblings as well, and his parents instilled this in him. The GoFundMe is almost up to 300,000. It's continuing. The importance, I think, for you guys to continue is obviously you have to continue to raise money with GoFundMe, and hopefully people. It sounds like, do people patronize your car wash a little bit more now that they know who you are in the community?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
That's good. What's your next? I mean, before we wrap it up, go ahead. If you guys have any questions for him in the comment box, and I already saw one, and I'm going to ask him. Where is it? I'll come back to this in a second. Great question. It's what made you smile today? I'm not going to ask that just yet. So I see you, Jennifer Esposito. What are your future plans? What is the runway look like? What do you have as options coming up? Because again, the money's not going to last forever, so you have to continue obviously to raise it, and hopefully the community supports. So what's your goal? What's your plans?
My goal is the alderman that's in the ward. He's been very helpful. With what I've been doing, looking into now, looking for like vacant buildings that I can get very cheap, that I could turn into like for our beloved homeless to be able to sleep there, to fix up the building, and they'll be able to come there, to be able to get a hot shower, to sleep, be able to get a nice meal. That's what my future plans are, and that's what I'm looking into, to acquire some property that could fix up so that they can be able to sleep there and hopefully be able to provide more jobs.
Somebody put in the comment box about BLM. Just think if you could get some of that BLM money right now, have that continue to fund what you got going on. I mean, what you're doing with a limited amount is unbelievable. So just imagine what you could do with $100 billion. I've added the GoFundMe up here. I keep putting in the comment box. Please, guys, go ahead and donate. I know we got about 50 people watching right now, so please do that. Share this video. And now I'm going to ask another question. If you guys have more questions in the comment box, let me see them. But the one that we do, so every Friday we have something called What Made You Smile Today, or WMYST. The reason why we do this, and maybe it'll be fun with all the people that you have coming in through your restaurant, because, in our country and in the world, we go up to somebody and be like, Jermaine, what's up? What's going on? How you doing? And it just elicits the same old response over and over and over again. What made you smile today makes people stop and think about gratitude and what they might be thankful for. Whether they're homeless or not, they could be thankful for the hot meal, whatever it is. So I'm going to ask you the question right now, Jermaine. What made you smile today?
Man, to be able to see, I was in the restaurant earlier, and it was the single mom. She had 4 children. Man, I was able to get him a hot meal, and I was able to get him some groceries and milks and some Pampers. That's what made me smile. Little girl, name was Tatiana. She gave me a hug. She gave me a hug and told me thank you. She was 6 years old, and she told me thanks, for the food. So that made me smile.
That's funny. My grandma. So when I told you I grew up a little bit poor. My grandma's name, like everybody's got, like, I guess now today they got like Mima, and I never had that stuff. But my grandma's name was Grandma Huggy, because we couldn't afford, diapers are so damn expensive, that she was the one that would send my mom and dad diapers. So she was Grandma Huggy. So that's the diapers thing hits pretty close to home. They got a lot of people in the comment box saying that you made them smile today. Let's see if there's any other questions for you, and then I could just love to give you a final. Oh yeah, people are asking where the location is. What's the location of? First, give me the location of the restaurant, and then the free restaurant, free hot meals, and then the car wash.
The location of the restaurant is 4100 West Madison, Chicago, Illinois 60624, and the car wash is right up the street at 4532 West Madison.
That's Madison. Got it. And then you said that Cash App earlier as well. What's the Cash App for it?
The Cash App is $ free food 4100.
100 Cash App. And yeah, somebody said the address is in the GoFundMe, which I keep putting up there. So you guys have the addresses there. Mal Van said, I've been following Jermaine for a year now. Truly amazing how selfless he is. Everything you do for others. In this life, we only live a certain amount of time, and legacy is something that's it's not an ego term. It's got nothing to do with that. But the legacy that you leave behind, no matter if you live to 50 or if you live to 80 years old, it's something that you can leave a mark on this world. God is always watching, as we know, and God is always helping those that help him. And Kathleen says, you're a godsend for Chicago. I don't think anybody else has any questions. This has been one of my... it's mind-boggling to me that I did not know who you were until Nikki found the story. I think God was on Nikki to find you, and I know that you know other great people as well. So if you have any final words for the audience, just about your philosophy on giving, why you give, why people should give, and the idea of creating change. The floor is yours.
Yes, it's to giving is always a blessing to help somebody else, and to help yourself, it makes you feel good helping someone else. And it's always a blessing, man, to see somebody else smile and to help somebody else to be a change, man. That's like a new model empathy or kindness to be able to see a different change on the west side of Chicago. And that puts a smile on your face within itself with all that is going on. No, it's not the best neighborhood, but it is some best people, that's in the neighborhood to make a change, man. Elderly, children, man, even the Chicago police officers, they come there to eat, man, got a chance to meet some great people that come through there, man. Nick Cannon came through there, G. Herbal, man, Jabari Parker, he had the NBA player, he had donated, and it was just a blessing to have those people to be a part of, what's going on. Had Van Johnson, he came through and helped cook from Black Ink Crew. They came, man, it was just a blessing to be able to team together and, man, make a difference.
When Cash gets out of jail, the guy that we work with, as soon as we can get him out of whatever situation he's in, him and I, because he's from that area, we're going over there and we're going to cook. We're going to have some fun with you. I'm going to try your ribs because those look really good in the video. And I appreciate you for what you do. I want Nikki to get with you real quick afterwards, whenever. She's going to write you an email or give you a text, whatever. I want your whatever address is best to send. I want to get you a Be The Change t-shirt, obviously. Okay. And hook you up. And hopefully if there's any more updates or if you ever need anything, you want to come back on, say what you guys are working on, what you're giving away next week, whatever it is, let us know. Stay in contact with me and Nikki, and you're an amazing human being. I want to thank you. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you in back. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to you right after the show, and I'm going to wrap it real quick for you. So hang tight. Thank you so much for being on, Jermaine. I appreciate you.
All right. Appreciate the audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a phenomenal story. You guys have seen a lot of different people in our 27 episodes. You don't see me kind of, and I wasn't speechless, but that was as close to speechless as I get because I don't even know. Oh, that's a good question. Are you, Jermaine? I'm going to pull you back real quick. You're fine. I know you're walking around. Can we find you on Facebook?
Yes, Jermaine Jordan on Facebook.
Easy. Jermaine Jordan. You're probably going to have a few more friends. Let's see. Jermaine Jordan on Facebook. Excellent. I got that up there as well. All right. I'll put you back. All right, guys. The whole concept behind ChangeMakers. Being able to do something that you believe in and finding a way to do it. If you believe you can, you will. Jermaine 100% has 8 million reasons why this is an impossibility for anybody that would take on what he has taken on in his life. And he continues to do it because that's his passion. And it's clear that no longer money matters. It sounds like he is completely solvent. He's fine. Everything's good in his life. And on top of it, he has this. He has that to be given back to him, which I'm pointing to my heart. I know the camera's a little, there we go. That concept means that there is no amount of money that can make you richer than what he is doing. And the ripple effect that he's causing, that is the prototypical change maker story. And I encourage you guys to share it. For everybody out there in the audience, as you guys know, it's Wednesday, so we'll be doing Concert Avengers later tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern time. So in an hour, I think PTP has their show coming up. I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of this. I want to thank Jermaine, phenomenal human being. And I makes us all realize that we have the power to do more. We have the power to be the change we wish to see in the world. If you would like to ever watch this or listen to this show again or any of our shows, remember this does turn into a podcast within a day or two. So all you got to do is go to there it is. #BeTheChange.com/podcast. Follow all of ours. Follow Sunni's. Follow mine. Follow just that helps us even more than money at this point. Because that allows us to continue to grow our audience. Besides that, guys, I'll see you on Concert Avengers. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and have a fantastic evening.